Hello and welcome to the Connection Couch.
And welcome. Today we're talking about how to make your visuals pop on LinkedIn.
Stay tuned. Awesome, thanks for sticking around. We do appreciate it. Now, Jo, who are you? Who are you, Jo?
I'm Jo.
She's Jo.
And I can't believe it just went pop. I don't know what the heck that was, but yeah.
That was very LinkedIn gangster style, wasn't
Totally.
it?
Pop!
I'm Reg from Online Videos Perth. She's Jo.
Wildfire Social Marketing.
Wildfire
in case you want to check me out.
Yeah. This is Connection Couch, if you haven't noticed, and we're all about helping you connect. Exactly, on all sorts of different levels, using all sorts of different medias, formats, genres, whatever it is we can think of, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you should subscribe to the channel.
You should.
Exactly, and like the video as well. Anyway, today's topic, Jo, is visuals.
Visuals.
Visuals are a very important aspect of social media, aren't they?
They are, because they capture attention visually.
They do. Thanks for watching.
That's it.
Okay, so let's go through. Well, why don't you explain to me the 3 or 4? Let's go 4 ways, and the number 4 is really worth sticking around for because it's new, isn't it?
It is. It's new-ish, but it's being adopted and used for really creative ways of creating imagery and visuals.
Yeah. So
yeah, make sure you watch the end because I'm going to share this feature that's getting a lot of engagement and traction on LinkedIn right now.
Awesome. All right. So, number 1.
Number 1. So when you're sharing visuals on LinkedIn, you can just share an image, a single image. Whether you're on desktop or mobile, you click the image icon, you browse to it wherever. You might take a photo on the fly, but I wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend taking control and finding an image you've already created, whether you've dressed up in Canva or whatever, and off you go. So that's a single image post. It's a nice way to capture attention and stop the scroll in the newsfeed.
Stop the scroll.
Stop the scroll.
That's the hashtag, stop the scroll.
Yes. So that's number 1.
Okay.
So then number 2 is sharing multiple visuals.
Multiple visuals.
Multiples.
So how many is multiple? 100 like stories?
No. So LinkedIn allows you to share up to 9 images per post, which I think that's good. And this has been around for a long time. And this allowed you, if you were, say you were at an event and you took lots of photos and you wanted to share the essence of the event, what's going on and different aspects, you wouldn't share 9 individual posts. That would take up too much airtime in the feed and would annoy people because also you've also got to create 9 pieces of content to go with the image.
Yeah.
So a lot of noise. If you do 9 images, then you've got 1 post, 9 images. Now, the downfall of doing that is you're at the mercy of how LinkedIn choose to display your images. So I always recommend people, if you're going to do multiple images, go with odd numbers because if you do 2, they look hideous. So 2 images side by side, depending on where you are, it tends to put them next to each other and crops them down the very middle. So if the photo had something exciting happening off to the right, you're not going to see it in that sort of preview sense and until you click on the image. So all the 9 images, you can click on them individually and they open individually. You close it, you go to the next one, open it. So it's a bit tedious.
There's no arrow button where you can just...
Well, even if you're looking through, they're separate images in themselves, and they're just kind of, it's like a little pop-up that opens on the desktop, and they don't fall into it like a gallery. Like if you think about Facebook, for instance. I know we're not a Facebook channel, but when you share images on Facebook, it puts it into an album, whether it's a mobile upload album or an album you specifically create. We can't do that on LinkedIn, unfortunately. So it just becomes part of the content, and it's not indexed separately, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you are going to do multiples, go with odd number, and just know that after 5, you don't see them on screen. So you'll see 5 in a little grid, and then it will say +4 if you're going up to 9. So 9's the maximum, 5's the most you'll see, and you're at the mercy of LinkedIn as to how it crops them and arranges them together. So, but you can do that, so that's a nice way of doing it. Now the 3rd way is something you probably would like, Reg. It's putting your images into a video. So into...
I'm going to have to put you up there, Jo. Sorry.
Okay, all right. Not a video, no.
Is it a video or is it a slideshow?
Well, it's a slideshow.
Thank you.
Okay,
it's not a video, people. It's a slideshow.
It's a slideshow, but you export it as like an MP4.
You do. It is an MP4.
It's a video. No?
Oh, no, it's not. It's an MP4 format, yeah, but it's a slideshow.
It's a slideshow.
Video is moving images. Just because a picture moves doesn't mean.
Okay, here's a question for you, the Reg. What if I apply the Ken Doan effect? And have you come across the Ken Doan effect?
I know who Ken Doan is.
Okay, I don't know who he is, but I just know he has an effect.
Okay, what's...
So I know the tool I use on my mobile phone, which is, well, it was Splice I used to use, and you could bring in images and apply the Ken Doan effect and it would move them. So it would kind of go, you'd focus here and it would slide across. And you'd have all these images and it looked like movement.
Right.
So what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So
it's not a video.
Okay. That was where I was going with this. Is it a video? Because it is moving images then. It's not movement.
It's not a video in the true sense of the... As auteurs, we have like to think of it differently.
Okay, so it's moving images, but it's not movement. But it's better. It's probably better than a static image in some way.
Absolutely,
trying to get people to...
Oh, I don't want to denigrate the slideshow. It has its place.
Okay, so slideshows are okay.
Yes, and I'm being a little bit facetious.
So if we talk about creating video files, not videos, video files from slideshow type setups.
Ooh, what a tightrope you're walking, Joe. You're doing a good job.
So how would we create one of those, Reg? Not that you would you would in day,
Oh, like a slideshow?
Yeah.
How would I create it?
Yeah.
Thanks for springing that question on me. I really do appreciate it. I would probably say Canva to start with.
Oh, Canva. Oh, I didn't think you'd say start with Canva. I would have thought slideshow lends itself to PowerPoint or Keynote. Just because that's the slideshow.
Yes,
platform.
that's a very good point, actually. Yep. I didn't think of that straight away. I just thought Canva. Yeah, no, I would have thought Canva, but yep.
Well, yeah. But Canva is a great tool as well. I was going to say that's sort of next level because a lot of people don't think of using Canva to create like slides. When you think of slideshow, you're thinking of creating a slide deck, and I think a slide deck is presentation kind of software.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't have thought of Keynote or PowerPoint mainly because that to me that visually represents like a screen.
Yeah.
Whereas images are different dimensions and ratios, so I would have thought.
But here goes the thing: the standard presentation sort of sizing actually fits the LinkedIn post quite well. So
a 16 by 9.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that can work quite well.
Right.
LinkedIn's quite adaptable in terms of you can use square, you can use rectangle. I mean, portrait doesn't lend itself well because sometimes it crops it once again, and you don't get the top and bottom. So you might have seen images where you see a person's midsection.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not very flattering, or it's not really the focus point for the image. So if you're going to use portrait, make sure it's really far back so that the main part is in the image if it does crop. So let's go to talk about creating slideshows or presentations. So only because I've done this myself, before I even knew that you could do it in Canva, or before it was a thing. So for instance, we run LinkedIn Local Perth, and I have a slide deck of images of photos created by a photographer. So I would add the photos in. Now, if we think about multiple photos, if I want to share photos from an event, I can share up to 9 and they don't look all that great. As soon as I put them into a slide deck, and I'm not talking about dressing it up and branding it, I'm just meaning just put the photos straight into the slide deck, it's full screen, and then I export it as a MP4, not a video, but a video file.
Keep getting it.
That's what I would do, because then you're creating a moving image. I mean, it's not moving because there's no. I hadn't applied the Ken Doan effect in that. Cause I don't even know if that's a thing in PowerPoint or Keynote. But probably is.
I'm not aware of it.
There we go. Have you tried that? And do you know if it is a thing?
Is it a thing?
And who is Ken Doan anyway?
Well, he's a famous Aussie painter.
And why does he have an effect named after him?
Well, he had a very certain style of art, but he could actually. One of his claim to fame is he could draw Sydney quicker than you could write it. So he'd actually draw the Sydney Opera House quicker than you could write the word Sydney.
Okay.
So he's very colourful, very bold. I'm not an artist anyway, but
and he has an effect after him, and he's Australian.
Yeah, if it's the same guy I'm thinking of.
Okay, I'm excited now. I didn't know that at all. So there you go. If you knew that, I'd love to know. So we mentioned Canva before. So Canva can be used to create document posts, which are the hottest type of content on LinkedIn right now.
That's what you tell me. So why is that? Why is it so?
Why is it so?
Professor Julia Sumner-Miller?
Well, anything new and fresh tends to get a lot of attention. So when native video rolled out, it got a lot of attention, and that's sort of fallen by the wayside now, unfortunately. Unless you do it really well. I mean, video certainly. I wouldn't not do video, but you've got to think about where it fits in. But in terms of images, document posts are the most effective way to share multiple images. But Canva allows you to create essentially a slide deck that you can export as a PDF document. So if we were talking about an event, which we mentioned, we could put in 9 photos from that event into a multi-page document, so 1 photo per page. Or we could go crazy and go up to 12. Or
12?
Yeah.
Not 100, like stories.
Well, we could go 100. Like, if we want to create a 100-page document, we've got to keep in mind then it's more of a carousel for people to scroll through, and are they going to look at all of them? Maybe not. I've seen some up to about 30 pages, so it depends. And if you're talking images, there's nothing to consume, so it's just an image.
So you just flick through.
Yeah. So you put it in 1 per page, export it, and upload it. Choose the document post icon on the app or on the desktop version.
Is it only PDFs, did it?
You can do PowerPoint as well. So PPT or
TX or something?
Yes, or PBS, or something like that anyway. But PDF's probably the safest because you're maintaining control of what it looks like, and you can always export as PDF from anything. Because that way, if you're using Keynote or Canva or PowerPoint or whatever it is you're using. So use the software that you're most comfortable with is probably my biggest tip.
For sure.
But Canva's great. And as we mentioned, we had Marianne Rom on the show.
We did.
Who is a Canva expert.
Yeah, she's top notch.
Yes, so definitely watch that video to get some more insights into how you can use Canva. But it means you can now add another layer to it. So if you just use your PowerPoint or Keynote slide deck, yeah, you can still brand it because you can have a background color that matches your brand. Maybe there's an image watermark somewhere, and each image has that watermark. But Canva allows you to. It's just not that it does more, but it's just easier.
It's easier.
It's easier.
What way? For time?
Yeah, because once you've created one, and you might just duplicate it and create it again, or you might use that piece of content multiple times. So I mentioned animated video. So that piece of content could be exported as multiple images, which could be single image posts. They could be exported as a video file, not a video file, MP4. It could be exported as document posts. You're making multiple purposes, multiple uses. Now, one thing I want to mention with document posts, this is where the real take it to a whole nother level is you could use because if you think about when you use PowerPoint or Keynote, generally they're landscape, aren't they? A certain dimension.
Correct.
And you can put that onto LinkedIn as a document post. But what you then see in the preview is a single image. Now, if you create a square post and you do multiple images, you're going to see the square post and part of the next one. Now, I've seen some really clever uses of using an image. So you've got the square post, and then on the next, on post or image 2, there's something that sits across both of them. So when you see the part of the next one, there's a little thing like a preview. So it's leading you into the next image anyway. So creating square posts, you can do it in PowerPoint and Keynote. I didn't actually know this, but when you go into your PowerPoint document, you can actually go to the document size and make it square. Oh. And then you can probably do the same in Keynote too. I didn't know that. Because how often do you do a square presentation? You just don't, do you?
No.
But in terms of creating content, you can create square. But Canva has all the sizings there. So you go square post and off you go and create it that way too.
Awesome.
Yeah. So document posts are super, super exciting right now.
As you said, they're relatively new. Yeah. So they are getting a lot of traction. So it would be worth your while trying them out. Post some stuff.
I want to share a name of somebody to have a look at because he's someone I met on LinkedIn through mutual connection, and he's a graphic designer, so he's got that creative flair. Go to him for inspiration, and because he just shares some awesome stuff. So his name is Dave Officer from the UK. Yeah, it's spelled like that. Dave Officer he's a graphic designer based in the UK, and he's probably my favourite content creator on LinkedIn.
Ooh.
And I know we often talk about content creators as in YouTube, really, but I look at, because LinkedIn is a publishing platform, and I look at people creating content, and his stuff, it's clever, it's creative, but it's also useful. So a lot of this content he created, particularly over the COVID time, was either helpful or it was entertaining. Like some of his stuff is really funny. So you can get that into your your document post. Now, I don't know if he uses Canva. He might use his Adobe, whatever software he uses as a designer. But You can bring personality into it. So I've mentioned photos, but you could create document posts with tips. So I created a guide to LinkedIn stories. And it kind of like operates as almost like a flip book in a sense, because you've got your title image, which is the first page, and then you might have tip 1, and then something else, maybe unpack tip 1, tip 2, maybe like a heading, a couple of tips there, tip 3, put images in, put graphics in, so you can get quite clever with them.
Okay. Excellent. So there's another way to put your content out there on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty helpful. I learned a few things as well today, so that's good.
I look forward to seeing you use some more document posting.
I actually haven't done one, so that is something that I will have to pull my finger out and get.
Oh, and just before we pulling your finger out, actually,
let's leave it in there for a little bit longer.
One thing to note, when you go into your activity on LinkedIn on your profile and you go to your activity feed, you've got all activity, which includes your comments and engagement with other people. You've got your posts, which includes everything that you share, and you've got articles, and then documents actually have their own area. So if I go to your profile activity documents, I can see all your documents. So it just means people can find them easily. Now, I'd like them to have a tab for video as well. It would make sense, wouldn't it? And even images would be useful. But documents, for some reason, have their own area. So you can sort of use it as once again, a destination. You can share the direct link to your feed.
Yes, that's, again, top tips.
Just flowing out.
Flowing out here. So if you like the kind of stuff that we're talking about and all the content, then I would subscribe. I think it's a good idea.
I think you would.
Yeah, I think you should.
Have you already? I hope you have.
I have subscribed, yes.
Excellent. I have.
Yeah, I want to know when the videos come out.
Yeah, I do. And I click that bell so that I get the little alert.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So let us know in the comments what kind of posts you're putting out. Have you done a document post? If you have you seen any difference in the engagement rate you're getting? If you haven't done a document post, will you? Are you? What's stopping you? We want to know. All right. Thanks for watching. We do appreciate it. We've got more content and more gems and nuggets and gold coming up next week. So subscribe, stay tuned, and we'll see you then.
See you then.